that's kind of what you have to do in a circle like that, as it's just a little bit chaotic whenever you go down towards military base. So finding the priority placements that you can play from to get those kills, so important.
Guys, where's Honey Badger going? He's like in the center of the map.
Honey Badger goes wherever Honey Badger wants.
He's going like trying to find a dead center position, and he's already running into multiple teams. Like I know we love Honey Badger because of his.
They don't really have too much company around here. It's just going to be SSG that's going to be rolling right next to him. This might be the wrong play, buddy. Already down to half-life, drops out of the vehicle, and there we go. That was a roaming pack of eUnited wanting to pick that one up, and Keenan just drove through the wrong spot at the wrong time. The other three members are kind of to the northeast of what's going on with eUnited, so I guess it sucks to be the tail end of that train.
I feel like that was just incredibly unfortunate timing.
If we continue to see a center up, that's going to lead to a circle that is often very, very fun. Black Tiger now taking a couple of shots at SG as they roll through. Pippa manages to right at midair, though. Looks like he should be able to continue on his merry way.
Yeah, but Alir doesn't. He actually drowned last game. So this is 2 games in a row that he hasn't really been able to contribute much to his team. He'll still be watching the kill feed from the death lobby, Shadow Realm, if you want to call it that. But also Oath coming in from the east side. United able to find themselves in a good position around Yasnaya. They took Keenan's putting yourself in position to make best of the games when the circle comes to you, and it's going to Rozhok.
Wow.
It's going to Rozhok, guys. It's going to Rozhok.
All right. So I do want to point out that we did see TSM moving towards Sunken City, where we saw Troglodytes that was playing from. It looks like they have the capabilities to maybe harass them as they're trying to make a little bit of a rotation of their own. Everybody's north, east, center up. Where are we going? Center up. Okay. That's still fun. Still fun.
No, it's still good. Yeah, no, it's fine. I just
I was kind of hoping for it to go north because only Young Kings was there, and that would have just led to chaos. Yeah. But anyway, we still got school, we still got apartments, we still got Rozhok. All of those are fun. And to be honest, where Wildcard is making their play to, I always love ending fights around that position.
That's J compound, right? There's like 7 compounds that look like that.
So let's see. Rotation's now starting to collapse in just a little bit more. Oath's going to bypass next to SSG as Dignitas is going to be coming in next to them. Soniqs also getting a little bit of vision on what's going on as Gascans needing to make their move. A lot of our teams are opting into the western approach, which could pay off for TSM because we saw them holding down that gatekeeping position next to Rusty Zero and Troglodytes over there. So now it's just a matter of where do you think the easy way to approach is, and Gascan says, all right, it's going to be running right next to school. It's going to be running right next to apartments. And oddly enough, this approach often does pay off, as you can just come down through here very quickly, cut to the right, and find yourself a building. 300 didn't have a chance to really get into position. A lot of damage comes through, but it's not until the end as Gascans runs over Gascans at the worst moment. 300's on the other side of it. The approach comes through, and 300 cleaned that one up fast.
They weren't getting shot at by anyone, so they assumed that apartments was clear, but 300, like, as you were saying, they were still readying themselves, but it ended up being to their advantage that they weren't in position to defend because, well, then, of course, with the self-run over, the well-timed incendiary from Vox, it was very good stabilization there by 300. Gascans are out, first team gone in a matter of seconds, but they're not going to be the last team to make a send in that direction. TSM are going to have to move. Not far from them, we see Soniqs and SG on the move, but again, SG are getting removed one by one.
Synergy's got to be very, very careful. Looks like they're going to send it back along the school line. That's going to be where Adapt is positioned up at the time. 300 might have a little bit of a firing angle to play with as well. Soniqs do a little bit of a stopover right on the edge of the zone, see if anything's going on. We saw TSM playing this dip just a little while ago as TSM has now done a full rotation over into the north. Adapt, though, got a little bit of idea on what's going on, doing some harassment into 300, but 300 might be able to get that res. I don't know. It depends on if they're afraid somebody might crash them at the time, because that's the problem. If you're trying to hold down apartments and you lose somebody, you can see you have to commit a lot into that one. Oh, no! Oh, he tries to go for the jump out, and that last tick of damage is going to be enough to get him a little bit more damage into this one. So Adapt now slowly and steadily dismantling.
Come on, one more.
Third time's a charm? Nope, third time's not a charm. So that is a commitment of resources that is going to backfire in 300's face.
If they let Vox go, they could have still had a strong position in the late game.
And Fiumba just rolls down. They're like, oh,
yeah, exactly. 300.
Adapt.
I don't know why they found it appropriate to be so separated when it's impossible to control this entire area as a single team anyway when the circle continues to shift onto it. And then they just kept throwing more resources to try. Like there was the loser gamblers fallacy. in this way. At least they're getting a revive onto one, but now they're isolated into one single building. They have Fiumba and Adapt breathing down their necks. Who knows how many teams are going to try and rotate in? Dignitas, where are they going to go? Likely into apartments.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of good that Dignitas can make a roll through right now. They are at least managing to use the little bit of terrain that they've got to try to find some type of path. Honey Badger managed to bully his way into position beforehand. Looks like he might be able to get it again. I mean, sure, they're in the circle, but man, Shack Life with 54 people alive is real scary.
Sure, this is actually one of the better Shacks to play because of the hill that you can see on the backside, and they can use their vehicles as well. It's dead center, so I don't hate this. It is very risky. It's an easy target for grenades, but they're not going to have to deal with, hopefully not going to have to deal with teams approaching them in the way that we see Black Tigers now approaching Adept. William's been knocked. Richie's already been fully confirmed.
Nice damage off that grenade toss, but you can see Adapt can't really send resources over to get William right now. So with this, they're going to have to just commit away from this and allow Black Tigers to move into point. To the north of this, TSM is going to be rolling by a wild card as they make the play in. That's going to be Alo that's going down. TSM is going to continue to try to come on the path, but with this firefight, Lord only knows where they're going to go. SSG, though, has eUnited very, very close to them as throwables are going to come out and make their life just a little bit more chaotic. Keep in mind, while this is going on, there's a lot of different people that have angles and what's happening.
Oh!
United's Valiate off on a side flank, pops off in a very important throw there that might alleviate a little bit of pressure, and now can just keep on creeping around through this. I don't know if SSG has even the slightest idea on where he's at. I mean, Valiant's just out here trying to make a play.
It's fun. That's a very tight angle, but it's allowed his team to get the revive, and now they can push on this 4 versus 3. The revive did also come from SSG.
All right, SSG, you've got a lot of angles you have to be careful around right now, and it looks like eUnited is in no rush, just using throwables to slowly and steadily whittle them down as it comes into play. TSM opted into making a stop right next to Wildcard and said, oh, hey, you wanted to kill Alo? Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and stop and see if we can kill you.
Well, they also needed to stop somewhere trying to get into this circle, so honestly, not a bad position here. Luke on the roof, like this play, making sure that no one can sneak up on them. Maybe, oh, he has an angle to try and take Zray out. Cooking the grenade. Should make it through the window. Good, well placed, and oh, Zray gets out of there just in time. Forced to fall away, and that could give Young Kings an opportunity to continue to push in from the north. That would be a wide push, though. They're already in the circle. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but who really knows what Wildcard are going to have to deal with, because they're sandwiched between 2 squads.
So with what's going on with Wildcard and TSM to the northwest of this, we also have that SSG United situation. So everybody's really caught up on what's happening close range. Circle's going to pop, and both compounds are pretty much outside the safe zone. That's going to require a little bit of play. There's a smidgen of what's going on in the TSM wildcard positioning, so that means that them and Young Kings might have to fight for that little bit of a wall that's going to be in play. Really, everybody else, pretty comfortable.
I like this by TSM. They're falling back. They know Young Kings are going to be sandwiching Wildcard from the north, so no reason to full commit on the defense, but here comes the defense from SSG. Sharp shot gets knocked. Roth tries to defend, but gets traded by Corsac with a 2-piece on the take so far, and it is all onto Oldless. Able to get one, able to drop Valiant. Can he confirm before he gets traded out? Oh. Trying to go for more proactively for the fight. Oh. Gets the second, but down low. Los finishes him off, and eUnited should be able to stabilize. I think they're bleeding out slow enough for Los to get all the revives in this.
They should have time with everything that's been going on. TSM, though, they do want to disengage from this, but the problem is Young Kings isn't being proactive in making a really big play at this point. Everything else is kind of calming down. Oath does have to make a move of their own, and that's what they're doing right now, hopping inside of vehicles. We'll have to see how they opt into coming through here. But Young Kings finally hopping in vehicles, positioning through. Wildcard, do they have an angle onto this? Are they just going to let them go? Because Young Kings wants to play this outside wall. They want this little bit that's still in play, because with 45 alive, nobody wants to make a big gamble move at this point.
Maji made a spot. He's hearing the footsteps. He's calling out all of this information to his team, and he's just waiting for the jump in through the window, but Soniqs also having to jump into the circle, playing behind a wall of their own. Okay, yeah, just that for the grenade from Black Tiger. I don't know if they were expecting that.
That bounce was absolutely big. So with this, Soniqs now going to be a little more careful. Another follow-up grenade's going to land into it. hwnn's going to go down. But with this, it looks like Soniqs really only has to be afraid of Troglodytes coming in back behind them. But these throwables are coming out, and they're being quite effective from Black Tigers. Keep in mind, Adapt is still playing a wall that's very close to this. eUnited now trying to send it through. It's going to be Corsac that's going down. TSM having the angle to play with. eUnited is rolling right around the other side of this, right into where Young Kings is playing at. Waldo just jumps out right in front of a ton of people.
I want to say that eUnited just don't have the information because they were so caught up in their own engagement, but they also just need to go for something, for anything. But Waldo's going to take advantage of that, finds Whitecuz, confirms that that's at least another kill for them. Now Luke is jumping Assassin's Creed style from one roof to the next to deal even more damage.
It's a 2-point reposition, and that coming up from Luke is absolutely massive. Finally, Waldo goes down, but Young Kings now have to be very, very careful. You can see TSM feeling a little bit more comfortable based off their positioning. Wildcard still just trying to reposition about what's happening right now, having to make a lot of different independent movements.
Oh! There they are. I was wondering when they would be curious enough to get into play in this engagement, and they're able to do a little more damage. Wildcard are eliminated, but not after they deal some heavy damage of their own towards Young Kings. TSM are going to look to finish off what Wildcard started.
This is where TSM is thriving. Whenever it's all about communication, repositioning, using the terrain to their advantage, this is what TSM wants to do every single game. You can see every single time they know where the approach points are going to be coming from, and they're baiting out repositions as they move. And one still alive, just narrowly inside the safe zone right now, but has to be extremely cautious. The new circle has popped, and it's just to the south of this position. And one knows. And he sees the shot. Oh, there it goes. Is he going to take the shots just quite yet? Sees it. Has to take that opportunity. Luke's going to go down. Spots out the next one, and one has to be very, very careful. Sneaking around back behind both angles onto this one, hoping the fact that maybe he can get a little bit of vision on what's going on, and maybe Systematicos might opt into helping out, but no! It's going to be TSM that do manage to weather that storm.
He tried to be quick on his feet, very roguelike, just trying to stir as much chaos as possible in that 1 versus 3. But Purdy, of course, just needed to hold the angle, able to take that one out. But here comes Troglodytes rolling up into Systematicos SDS. They pulled away from that because they knew the chances of this happening were quite high. 4 versus 4. There was a tease of it early game, and now it's going to finally happen.
Lauren gets spotted out, has to reposition away from it. I mean, the blue zone's going to come in and do a ton of work to these guys, and they know it, but they just have to walk and run and gun right next to each other. This is the problem. If you end up opting into Rozhok and then it moves away, you know it's going to be absolutely problematic. Rusty Zero gets the high ground knock, so that's going to allow the other members playing lower, and most notably Execs, to potentially reposition around what's going on at the time. Let's see if Systematicos maybe tries to make a little bit of a play. They've got the vehicle lined up back behind them, but not opting to make any movements just quite yet, and that's allowing Troglodytes to reposition to their heart's content.
Well, they're also forced to fall away because of an angle held from School by Adapt. So instead, they're actually just gonna play meek, allow Adapt's high angle to deal more damage to Systematicos, because both these teams need to move into the circle.
Nice.
As long as Troglodytes keeps 4 up, they can just finish off. But Rusty Zero, toe too visible. William is gonna drop him. And so now they need to focus on trying to make their own position safer.
Adapt has been so involved in everything that's going on around the circle right now. You can see that whenever we saw them take School very early, they've been having to contend with teams all around them. They were contending back off from 300, the positions that we saw coming out from them a little while ago. Troglodytes now trying to make a little bit cleaner of a move as TSM did move forward and tries to go for a little bit of a kill off of that, but Purdy is going to go down from Oath's positioning, so Troglodytes gets a little bit more free movement trying to step forward. But remember, that send it to the shack a while ago coming out from Dignitas now means that Troglodytes and TSM are the closest contenders towards them, but have very minimal cover to work with.
Yeah, that's why Purdy wasn't playing with Luke, was trying to thin out what he could on the north side. Does end up getting caught, but it was a gamble well put, in my opinion, because look how open this area is, and the circle is going to continue to shift towards the south. Apartments still coming up on top, and 300. I criticize, and I'll stand by that criticism of the fact that they played too spread out a couple of zones ago, but they're making this singular position work. They only have 2. We'll see if that comes back to bite them, as I expect it will.
They did get a res, remember that? We saw the 3 of them that were stacked over there, so they're now sitting at 2, so not as bad as it could be, but Adapt is just sitting here, and oh my, he keeps his head still for just a little bit too long. Now his revealed position, can he cook it perfectly enough? Just gonna do the fadeaway toss, and boy, it connects. Shrimzy's now got to retreat back away from the position that he was wanting to play. Both of these teams now going to have to move out of the school safety, trying to use the wall to their advantage. But again, it's going to be Retaliative. Lines up, taking the shots into Troglodytes and up. LightShow realizes what's going on, just lines through the Molotov. I think ends up just a little bit too short. These guys don't even care about Troglodytes. They realize they need to get Soniqs down, and they get it. Now they have to step away from Troglodytes for positioning, and they still need to move inside the safe zone in what's going to be a very dangerous cross.
8 kills for Adapt, and you expect that from a team who is able to just hold turret position in the center and pick off teams rotating in. But they were still able to get 8 kills, looking to make that into a better game for themselves. But getting into this next circle is going to be rough. First step is getting rid of Troglodytes. It's just Jayu left, force to prone, take a med, heal back up. But already Adapt are trying to put a little bit of attention on the cross, because it's going to be a rough one.
They're aware of what's going on, but they just narrowly miss vision as it comes through. Troglodytes just goes, okay, hey, Fiumba's going to go ahead and be the one to take him down. With that kill, though, now Dignitas is going to try to make a little bit of a move. See, TSM trying to survive as well, but now it's just going to be the apartments huddle, as we do have Fiumba that's in play. We still have Black Tigers. We still have one member for SG, as well as 300. Dignitas trying to make this run through, but it is just a bloodbath. There is nowhere to go. Everybody has vision on what's happening, just trying to step forward and what's going on, but Adapt has such a beautiful angle on this.
Have you seen those videos of a laser like etching into a wood? That's exactly what that was. Laser lights from everywhere on the map, all beaming in on Dignitas' position. Honestly, you can't fault them too much. That was the only play available. But also Letty pushing forward. That synergy taken out.
I can't believe Adapt got away with that. With the distraction that Dignitas made, everybody in apartments looked their direction, and that allowed Adapt to reposition a lot cleaner than we thought was going to happen. 300 still has a little bit of a firing line to work with on them, but now everybody is starting to have to leave the apartments home, and this is where, I mean, it's going to get tricky. There's even less cover now to work with.
Yeah, Fiumba's game plan right now is to get rid of Black Tiger and then go for 300, because if they try and attack 300 right now, Black Tiger are going to be shooting them in the back. I don't think Oath's position or Adapt's position is too much of a threat for Fiumba specifically, but look at that long cross that they're going to have to make. They have a little bit of cover with those burnt out vehicles and a little bit of playground, something involved there, but no KF9. They're starting this off against 300. A lot of damage dropped down to 18. Will Adapt see them from this angle?
Trying to creep their way forward. I think that Adapt is still a little bit huddled down at this moment. So with this, 300's having to contest very close range threats all over on top of them. Trying to hold out the angle of the car, providing a little bit extra support. Molotov also to try to slow down what's going on. Adapt has an opportunity to move right now, as well as potentially Oath. Fiumba not wanting to be involved in anything that's going on at the time. 300 has had to lose all vision on what's going on to deal with the threat that is right outside. And oh, you've got to be careful walking through that doorway. That Molotov almost landed on his face.
Really good incendiary, and it is going to take out Letty. Here comes the push from Oath, making the way to the rock. Kickstart gets dropped. Snaker's down to 1 HP. Might have a small little corner to hide with and get the revive, but safety, of course, is paramount. KF9 also goes down. Vox, the fire master this game. But now Extreme gets knocked another time.
Oh, and Adapt sees that they have an opportunity. They're running into this box. Is now the last one up. He has to be very, very cautious as Adapt realizes that they can make a foothold play inside of this point. Box now looking on 2 different angles right now. As you can see, the Blues coming in right back behind Adapt. They don't know which doorway to push, and it looks like they're just going to lean into it. It's going to be Show that takes a face full of lead, but Box making a good play for it. Gets a second one, trying to survive it through, and he holds!
Sorry, I actually got surprised by that swing. I wasn't expecting a Yeti. Oh my god.
Just came out of nowhere.
Oh, came out of nowhere. Vox is actually making this work for 300 into the top 3. Fiumba still have 4, so they're going to be the apex predator in this game, but all the open ground in front of them that they're going to have to move. All right, a good spray like what we just saw from Vox. If he has more of that in the tank, then some real damage could be done.
The Blues coming in, everybody's got to go to the center, and everybody's around the edge of the zone. One member already going down Snakers for Oath. Means Fiumba has more and more advantage the longer this persists. Vox looks like he might realize back the number of advantages on the other side of it. Tries to see if he can harass, because if he manages to assist long enough, it could show up in favor, but no! Beautiful grenade's going to come out from DraftKing, and now it is just Vox. His time is limited, and there we go, 9 kills. Fiumba coming up in a big way.
Oh, Vox was able to get 1. I believe it was Emmy from Fiumba. But Oath didn't put up enough of a fight to support Vox in his own venture for the win. It is going to be Fiumba coming out, but another high kill game for 300.